Hello everybody, Tommyruin here, and as the beta for Ascension gets under full swing, the game is very lively. There are so many people doing things out and about in the world. But I'm going to look to the future in this video and talk about 5 things which I really hope will get added in Project Ascension. Now, one thing which I really cannot wait for is the SOFTCORE server to come out, because that is going to bring in so many more people to the server and really build up the hype, because I've seen so many people say that they won't play unless they can play on the SOFTCORE, and I can really understand that, having played at level 60 for a little while now. Having all your stuff stolen after you've worked for a while to get it is really disheartening, so I cannot wait to see this server open and have so many more people join the game and enjoy the game. I know it's so frustrating seeing it there on the realm selection screen and not being able to click it, but hopefully it's coming soon and I cannot wait to play on it when it does. The SOFTCORE server will feature many of the same things that the hardcore server does, such as the Classless system and the Randomly Enchanted items, but it won't be as punishing because you can't be ganked by random people, as the free-for-all aspect has been taken away, and it also means that you can't drop your gear on death because that system has also been removed in the SOFTCORE server. I can imagine this server will be the go-to server for PvE content, as raiding for 2 or 3 hours and then getting ganked and losing that one piece of gear which you got really doesn't satisfy many people. It's been thrown around a lot that the SOFTCORE server will be released on the release of the live game, but I'm hoping for one that it comes around open beta or sooner, because I really cannot wait to play on it. I would even be very open to the idea of having free-for-all PvP on the SOFTCORE server, as it does differentiate it from other WoW private servers. It makes it unique in the fact that you can have guild alliances rather than faction alliances, and you can have guild controlling areas, things like that that really make Ascension stand out from other servers and make it a unique playing experience for those who are involved. It really adds another layer to the RP experience, which I think in WoW is a very, very good thing. Now, one thing which I really cannot wait to see is the talent tree when it's working to its full extent, showing all the correct values and all the correct interactions between different classes. So, will Frost Mage spell buffs work on Shaman Frost spells, for example? This is something which I really think is needed as soon as possible, because dumping talents into a talent that doesn't actually buff what you thought it would is quite disheartening, and the respec costs on this server are very high. When this is working, it would be great to have an accompanying talent calculator that I know a few people in the community are working on, and a massive props to them for doing that. But having a working talent calculator would let you kind of flesh out your builds before you even put your talent points in, so you have an even better build, and it also allows you to theory craft while you're not actually on the game, which is something which is very good for the server. I know this is something which they are working very, very fast on, and I really cannot wait to see it in its final form. Now, a while back, before the change from Awakening to Ascension, there was talk of a bounty system within the game that would allow you to put up a bounty on players, and then once players go out and kill them, they get gold for that kill, and you can put up whatever value you wanted on that player to be killed. Now, this system is fantastic for the hardcore server, and it is a feature which I really hope to see quite soon. Being a bounty hunter on Project Ascension would be the coolest job in the world. You can go around, you can be that guy who stands in Stormwind and get people run up to you and be like, I need this guy taken out. And then you just jump away, fly away on your magic carpet and kill him from above. I don't know where I was going with that. I think this will really open up the PvP system in Project Ascension, because if the bounties were level locked and you could only kill people within your level bracket, say the 6 levels or the 4 levels, which I'm really pushing for, then you would have players locking or staying around the same level and being bounty hunters within that bracket. And I know that already happens in the game at the moment, but having an official system where people could set up their own bounty business, that would make the game so much more vibrant and there'll be so much more diversity in the game. I can imagine different guilds opening up as businesses of bounty hunters and hiring out their services left, right and centre. It's such a great idea, and it's something which I really hope will come in soon. I don't know if it's been scrapped because I can't find any information on it anymore. There was some pictures and everything to go along with it. So hopefully it's in the pipeline and is being worked on, but we'll have to wait and see on the bounty system. One thing which I personally hope for is custom bosses. They did do a special Christmas boss that was specifically for level 60s and was in Winter Spring, and I like that idea. I like having custom events that are Blizz-like. If the bosses are scripted well and they are quite difficult, then I'm all for having these custom bosses in the game so that you have more to do when you are playing. I don't think it diminishes anything from the fact that it is a vanilla server, and I think actually it enhances it, because if you're not raiding in vanilla and at level 60, then I'm sure the game isn't that interesting for you. You're just preparing for the next raid. But if you had these extra bosses to go out and hunt, you have more to do, and more to do is always a better thing in my opinion. These bosses could drop special loot such as ability resets and talent resets at a low drop chance, and that would make people want to actually go out and do this custom content. And if these changed on a weekly basis like they do in Legion at the moment, then that would be a great system to get fresh content out into the game. I don't think many people would object to these custom bosses, as the game already has its own custom classless system. It's not a particularly Blizz-like game, so adding these custom bosses won't break anything. For these custom bosses, they could integrate new mechanics that really take advantage of the classless system. So you could have a boss that needs to be interrupted loads, and you'll have to take people who specifically counter those mechanics, or you will suffer for it. So it will involve everyone and everyone's different playstyles. There are many different ways that you could spin this custom boss thing, and I personally think it will take full advantage of the classless system and the fact that this game is so open in its possibilities. I'm not suggesting that full custom dungeons and stuff get added to the game with their own loot tables and new tiers and everything. I think that that's a step too far, but having world bosses which everyone can go and help out on, that maybe go and interact with cities and go and attack them, I think that would be something which will be really unique to the server and have a massive pulling power to get people involved to kill these bosses and get their share of the spoils from doing it. You could have them set up in different zones around the world to make these zones more lively. So places like Silithus, which before Encourage, they don't have any real use. I mean, there's hardly any quests there. The developers on this project have already shown that they're very talented in customizing the normal WoW game. So I reckon this is something that is very possible for the game, and I hope to see something like this in the future. Now, there is one thing which I've had in my head for quite a long time, and it's something which I think will make this game amazing, and it is the idea of having capturable towers in each zone. These towers will be able to be captured by guilds, and if you're in the guild which has control of the tower, then you would get an XP buff whilst leveling in that zone. So this would give an advantage to people who are leveling in guilds, because you'll want to capture the tower and hold it, so whilst you're leveling through that zone, you will get the XP buff. It will give incentive for higher level players to capture these zones, because you'll want to have low level players in your guild to breed up into your raiding teams. So it really does help drive the guild community aspect, because you've got the higher levels helping the lower levels in their leveling by capturing these towers for them. But not only does it help in the leveling sense, it also drives world PvP in these specific areas. World PvP at the moment is very random, and that has its good aspects, but it also has its negative aspects. If you focus your world PvP in certain areas, such as around these towers, then you will get guaranteed world PvP capturing these towers and trying to control them for the benefit of your guild. If you're logging on and you want to do a bit of PvP, you know that you can go into Redridge Mountains and capture that tower, because it will draw people to that tower, because the people who were in control of that tower beforehand would know that their tower is gone, and you can go there and capture it from them. I just think it's a fantastic idea that will drive world PvP in certain areas, and it will also make leveling more interesting, because if your guild's in control of a zone, you can go over there and quest instead, but you could also go and try and capture the tower in your zone for the extra XP bonus that it will offer you. It'll make being in a guild more lucrative, because if you're a guild which controls certain areas, then you'll be able to go into those areas and level quicker. I also think it will drive guild warfare, because there is obviously going to be a few guilds which are stronger than others, and those guilds will fight for control over these zones, because at the end of the day, these games are all about showing people how good you are and trying to be the best. So if you control all of the zones in your guild, then you're obviously going to feel good about that. But this will also drive the kind of, I like to call it the rebel side of things, where you have little bandit groups which pop out of nowhere and steal a tower. And then you have these big guilds sending their armies down to take back this tower. And it'll lead to a very, very different world dynamic, because guilds will be controlling different areas, and it will mean that you have to make more decisions about where you level and how you interact with people in that zone and at these towers. It leads to a lot of player politics, which I think is something that is lacking from the original game. Having guilds being in control of the land rather than the different factions like the Horde and the Alliance will make for a much more interesting and enriching game experience, and it is something which I really hope to see in the future. But that is all from me. If you like these ideas, let me know down in the comments. If you were to add anything to Project Ascension, what would it be? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.